Hello everyone! Welcome to LEMS, where we help you find your passion for math. I am Julibien Padel and I will be your teacher for today. For today's lesson, we will be teaching you inverse, contrapositive, and converse of an implication. Specifically, we will be talking about the definition of implication, inverse, converse, and contrapositive. We will also teach you how to turn an implication into an inverse implication, a converse implication, and an contrapositive implication. And so without further ado, let's start with the definition of an implication. An implication in logic is a relationship between two propositions in which the second is a logical consequence of the first. Moreover, an implication is joined by a propositional connective that resembles a combination of the equal sign and the greater than symbol. Usually, an implication is read with if and then. In symbol, it is if P, then Q. Again, like mentioned, an implication is read as if P, then Q, which means the if P is like the conditional and the then Q is the result. Now let's have an example of an implication. We have, if I study tomorrow, then I will pass. We also have, if I don't study today, then I will pass away. Now that we have the example for the implication, let's now define what is inverse. So an inverse is simply the negation of an implication. This shows that if not P, then not Q. Let's have an example. Our example is, if I study tomorrow, then I will pass the test. And to turn this into an inverse implication, we just find the P and Q, which is P is the I study tomorrow, then Q is the I will pass the test. And then we negate the propositions. So we put not, or we just simply think of the opposite of the proposition. So P is I will not study tomorrow, and Q is I will not pass the test. And then we just combine the propositions. Let's put if and then, which will give us, if I will not study tomorrow, then I will not pass the test. Now, keep in mind that in inverse implication or in any implication that we will be talking about later on in converse and contrapositive, it is not really necessary that we have the word not, because we sometimes simply have to negate it. For example, not pass. It could also be fail the test, because that's also the negative or the negation of the pass. We have another example here. If I don't study today, then I will pass away. This one is kind of confusing because as we can see, the first statement or the P is already negated. So what will we do? Well, first let's find the P and Q. And so P is the I don't study today, and then Q is I will pass away. And then we negate the propositions, although it already has the not, but again, that's not really our basis because we have to negate that statement, which will give us I will study today, and then Q will be I will not pass away. And so we simply combine those propositions and it will give us, if I will study today, then I will not pass away. And it's that simple. And the next one is the converse. And the converse will show us the if Q, then P. And here, we simply switch the positions of the P and the Q. For example, we have, if I don't study today, then I will pass away. We simply find the P and the Q, which is P, I don't study today, and then Q, I will pass away. And the step 2 is to flip the proposition's positions. So if I will pass away, then I won't study today. Simple as that. And then lastly is the contrapositive. This shows the combination of inverse and converse. Thus, this shows the if not Q, then not P. Here, we negate the statement and also switch the positions. That's how contrapositive works. So for the contrapositive implication, we have an example. If I study tomorrow, then I will pass the test. Again, find the P and the Q. And then, after that, we negate the propositions. Then it will turn into, I will not study tomorrow, then I will fail the test. And then step 3 is to combine the propositions. If I will not study tomorrow, then I will fail the test. And then we exchange the positions, so it will be contrapositive and not just inverse. Then it will be, if I will fail the test, then I will not study tomorrow. And that is all for our discussion about the inverse, converse, and contrapositive. I hope you learned a lot from today, and I'll see you on our next tutorial. Bye!